Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. Today we are here with part 33 of our F1 2021 MyTeam Career mode here for the USA Grand Prix. As I said last time, it's a track that I enjoy quite a bit, so hopefully we can get a good result. We haven't had the greatest time the last couple of races. We've only scored 1 point in the last two races, so hopefully we can sort that out. But having a look at the Drivers' Championship coming into this round, Norris leads away by quite a bit of Verstappen, and then Carlos is in third, and then we're down in sixth behind Ricciardo and Bottas. So yeah, we're out of this fight for the championship, but hopefully we can sort of move ourselves up. You can see in terms of the constructors, we're actually 1 point off of Red Bull for second place there. I'd say again McLaren have just taken off in that constructors fight, and so yeah, it's sort of going to be a fight for second place for this season, which will yeah, hopefully we can get second, which will give us a bit of a bigger budget boost, which will then allow us to challenge for first in the next season. But you can see here, just having a quick look at the results of the Grand Prix so far this season. You can see everyone in the top 10 except for Sergio Perez has won a race so far, so very, very competitive season we've had here in Season 2 of our career mode. Having a look at the car performance chart, you can see Mercedes has actually gone above us there. So ourselves and Mercedes have actually brought in a couple minor upgrades each. McLaren, Red Bull and Ferrari have stayed the same. But the upgrades that Mercedes and ourselves have brought aren't really too big. As I said, they're minor upgrades. And it's still very, very close between the top 5 teams here. So really anyone here could win it. And Ferrari have really seemed on form the last couple of rounds. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do here. So moving on to the race.
Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Benjamin lines up on pole position. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc and Bottas, Verstappen, Gasly, Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Kimi Raikkonen and Ocon, Perez, Giovinazzi, Nobuharu Matsushita and Nikita Mazepin, Norris, Latifi, Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So here we are on the grid for the USA Grand Prix, and a few interesting stories coming out of qualifying there. It is a 1-2 for us here as Zvezky Racing. I believe this is our first 1-2 as a team, so very exciting to see that we are this far up the grid, and let's see if we can hopefully go for our third career victory as a driver here. Another interesting thing to note is Sergio Perez and the championship leader Lando Norris are right down the bottom of the order, so it'll be interesting to see how those guys are going to sort of do some damage limitation into this round. Also interesting to see Valtteri Bottas and Carlos Sainz, the only two in the top 10 to be starting on the medium, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys go getting off of the grid and holding position for the first stint. But it's 5 red lights and we are off for the USA Grand Prix. It's, as you'd expect, a pretty good start for us as we head up towards turn 1. But as we head into turn 1, we start turning in, and Sainz out of nowhere dives it down the inside, and he gets into the lead of the Grand Prix. And Valtteri Bottas has also come out of absolutely nowhere and gotten ahead of us. So the two medium runners in the top 10 are now 1-2 after turn 1 there. I don't know how on earth those guys got such good starts that they're able to now be 1-2 here in the race, but that is that's pretty insane, to be honest. So we're going to have to try and stay as close as possible to these guys as we can, and hopefully use this better rubber, theoretically better rubber. I don't even know now after that race start. They've just, yeah, they're doing very well here. It's not like I'm even right up behind them either because of the extra grip that I should be having. They're actually pulling a bit of a gap. So yeah, let's just see what happens here as we come to the end of lap 1 now. You can see we're still behind these guys, but we are still right behind Valtteri Bottas as we now head down the straight. Obviously, Sainz sets the fastest lap there as he's leading the Grand Prix. And we're going to try and go to the outside of turn 1 on Valtteri Bottas. We're going to be able to make the move on the Mercedes. Obviously, we've got equal power units, as we are using a Mercedes unit in this Zvezky car. But we aren't able to actually make the move there on Bottas. So we're just going to have to sort of sit behind. You can see losing a bunch of time in the dirty air there through the S section. So hopefully we can get the move done soon and our teammate doesn't run too far ahead in this Grand Prix. I'd like to stick with him and obviously possibly get myself a third race win in this career mode. You can see Charles Leclerc behind us actually sets the fastest lap onto lap 3. And this time we're going to go to the inside of Valtteri Bottas into turn 1. But you can see again, we just don't quite have the grip that I want over the Mercedes. So yeah, real interesting to see there. As Lando actually sets the fastest lap. Lando Norris is down in 15th, you can see, and he's set the fastest lap, so he's got a lot of work to do. But we're going to go through a top 10 check here. Carlos Sainz leads the way, our teammate, obviously. Then Valtteri Bottas and ourselves, P2 and 3. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari in P4. Verstappen, the championship sort of chaser, in P5. Daniel Ricciardo, P6. Gasly, 7th. Sebastian Vettel in 8th. He's going to not be too happy with that position. I think he had a engine penalty or something that put him down in 10th to begin with, so he's going to be wanting to move up. You can see Alonso 9th and Stroll rounding out the top 10 there in the Aston Martin. So yeah, very interesting to see, especially that story with Verstappen. He's going to want to move up the grid as much as possible and try and benefit from Lando being so far out of the points. And even if you look at the minimap there, he's real far off of the whole pack as it is. So yeah, this is a good opportunity for Verstappen to chase down that championship lead. You can see as we head onto onto lap 4, sorry. We are once again up the inside of Valtteri Bottas into turn 1, and this time it does look like we've got a bit of an edge over him, and we are up into P2 and ahead of the Mercedes. So finally we're able to get that move done. We were behind him a bit longer than I would have liked, but you can see now he's actually under threat from Charles Leclerc. So he's going to have to try and hold off that Ferrari, which, as I said earlier on, those Ferraris have been very on form lately. So it'll be a bit of a challenge for him to hold off that charging Monegasque, as I'm sure Leclerc's going to want to get another race win under his boot off of the back of Japan last time out, obviously, where he got his first race win of the season. You can see actually Leclerc tries to go around the outside of the hairpin there. That move's not going to quite work out for him. However, I don't think, Bottas does have DRS, but Leclerc is a lot closer in that slipstream. Is he going to be able to get the move done? Actually, we're going to have to look away from that battle for a second because we're going for a move, and our teammate Carlos Sainz behind us is a three-way battle for third now, but we're still going to focus on this battle for the lead of the race here against our teammate as we go down the inside heading into Sector 3, and we do get the move done. So that is us up into the lead of the USA Grand Prix. But we're going to have a little look at what happened in that battle behind there. You can see Bottas did come out in third, and Verstappen actually ended up getting ahead of Charles Leclerc. So Verstappen benefiting from those guys racing each other, and Leclerc, I imagine, won't be too happy about losing that position. But you can see Sainz has kept with us here through this third sector, and he's going to be right on the back of us as we head onto the main straight, and he's obviously going to have DRS, and we aren't. So is Carlos going to have the pace to make the move on us? You can see he's closing. This is a very nice camera angle here on the front wing. He's going to go to the inside of turn 1, and I imagine that we're going to try and hold around the outside here. Yes, we do. Do we hold it? We're going to go side by side here through turn 2, and unfortunately their Sainz just held us very tight in that corner, so I had to back out of it to make sure I didn't run into him, because I just didn't feel I had the grip to hold it at the appropriate speeds through that corner and not end up sliding out and hitting Sainz. So Sainz gets the move done on us there, but we're going to stay nice and close to the back of our teammate and get the DRS next time out. You can see behind us here, Bottas is now having to hold off Max Verstappen, who, as I just said, is going to be hungry to benefit from Norris's poor race position at the moment. You can see Norris down in 15th still, so Verstappen is right on the back of Valtteri Bottas here. And obviously Bottas still has DRS, but Verstappen doesn't care. He's got the slipstream and DRS as well. So he's going to go to the inside at the end of the back straight here, and they're going to go side by side. Bottas will have the advantage through this corner, obviously, with the inside line, but Verstappen has the advantage of that softer rubber there on the soft tyre, so he's going to hold it to the inside of this triple left-hander, and he is going to get the move done on Valtteri Bottas and get himself up onto that final podium position in P3, and I imagine it's not going to take long for him to get working on chasing us down for 1 and 2. You can see Carlos Sainz there still just in front of us. So as we now head on to lap 7, we are going to have a pretty nice run here. You can see Sainz goes a little bit defensive, so we're just going to go to the outside, but we're way ahead before we even get to the braking zone. So that is us back into the lead of the Grand Prix in a pretty simple maneuver. You can see Sainz tries to come back at us, but we're pretty easily able to hold him off there and hold on to the lead. But now as we come on to lap 8, it's a reversal of that last situation, as Sainz is now right behind us as we head down the back straight, and so he's going to very easily sweep back ahead of us before the braking zone. You can see Verstappen's right behind us. Is he going to have a look? Not quite. He decides better of it and just decides to tuck in as opposed to going for a big dive bomb into there. So yeah, hopefully Sainz and I, well, obviously we both want to win this race and we both want to be ahead of each other very clearly, but hopefully we're able to get ahead of get away from this following pack. You can see at the end of lap 8 here, myself coming into the pit lane, followed by Verstappen, Leclerc, Ricardo, Gasly, and I believe further back that's I don't know, I think that's Lance Stroll maybe coming into the pit lane. That's not really too relevant. They weren't really in the battle pack amongst us. So you can see it's going to be a 2-stop for us, as well as everyone else. We're going on to the 2-stop strategy with the soft tyres here, and then we'll be going on to the mediums later on. But yeah, you can see nice clear air, so hopefully with these softer rubber we're able to close in on Carlos Sainz. But you can see as we head down the back straight, Verstappen has other ideas with the DRS. Obviously, we don't have DRS because we're not behind Sainz anymore, and so Verstappen clearly breezes past us, but he's actually locked up into the braking zone there, and so we're able to get the cut back on him and get ourselves back into P6 here. Obviously, it's not an actual P6, as there are other people ahead of us that haven't pit yet, but you can see Sainz is into pit lane, as well as Valtteri Bottas at the end of lap 10 there. It was in there. They're on lap 11 in the pit lane. And you can see they're putting on the soft tyres. So these guys are also on the 1-stop. I thought they might be trying to push... I meant they're on the 2-stop. I thought they were going to be pushing for the 1-stop, but they, yeah, they're not going... They're just sort of going to do an inverse strategy of what we're doing. So instead of going soft, medium like us, they're going to go medium, soft. So going to be interesting to see which strategy ends up being faster by the end of the race. Obviously, these guys will have a lower fuel load whilst having those soft compound tyres on at the end of the race, so you would assume they'd be a bit quicker, but the hope is that we've gained more time than what they've lost by that point. So you can see here, lap 11, Verstappen gets back ahead of us, and unfortunately he doesn't lock up that time. So as we head on to lap 12 now, we're going to have another go at overtaking him. You can see he's actually pulled a bit of a gap, but with the DRS and straight line speed, and I think I've got a little bit of a lower wing on my setup here, so we're able to close right up, go for a big dive into the braking zone, and we're going to go side by side here in sector 3, and actually he does pull back in behind it, although he actually does try again, but we do get completely ahead here into the triple right-hander. So yeah, we're back into the actual lead of the race here. So this is the battle for the lead. Sainz and Bottas have come out 6th and 7th, but they are still in this battle pack, so they haven't lost a whole lot of time, and obviously we're on the same compound tyres now in this scene. You can see Vettel's actually done a good job. He's gotten himself up into P3 now, into that final podium spot, so good to see he's right up there. You can see Perez has gotten himself right up back into 8th, and Norris into 9th, so those two guys have done they've also done a very good job at getting himself back up into the points now, and it'll be interesting to see if they're actually able to catch up to this battle pack by the end of the race. But you can see now finally being able to go through the S section without dirty air. It's a very, very different feeling. But you can see now lap 14 down the back straight, Verstappen is right behind us here. Is he going to be able to go for a move? Of course he is with the DRS there. He's easily through ahead of us into the braking zone. We're going to try and go for the cutback, but he parks it very nicely there at the apex, and we're going to have to sit behind the Dutchman and try and get the move done on him again later on. You can see we've also got Sebastian Vettel to worry about right behind us, but as we come onto the main straight now, it's going to be sort of a reversal of what we have had. We're going to have the DRS now, and Verstappen's going to be left stranded there with just that Honda power unit to help him as we head up the inside into turn 1. We actually run very, very deep, and Verstappen's able to go for the cutback. So very nice move from Verstappen. Big mistake from us to have just slightly misjudged the braking zone there from the inside of the corner. You can see now as we head on, continue on lap 15, I should say, we're now going to have the DRS once again down the back straight, and we actually go defensive once we get past, and Verstappen tries to send it around the outside, but he actually locks up, so we are ahead. But now Sebastian Vettel has the opportunity to make the move on Verstappen in the Red Bull. He's going to go around the outside as we head through the third sector here into the triple left-hander. Vettel has the inside line And just like what Verstappen did to Bottas, Vettel was now able to do to Verstappen and get himself up into P2. And now Verstappen has to worry about Charles Leclerc right behind him. So, yeah, this has given us a little bit of a gap to Vettel behind, but I don't imagine it's going to be too helpful because the DRS does seem to be pretty strong around this track. I don't know what it is, but around this track specifically, the DRS seems to be very, very strong around here. As you can see, Vettel right behind us. He's actually going to be able to go for a move immediately here onto lap 16 down the inside of turn 1, and he gets the move done completely beautifully there from the German in the Ferrari. And we have a massive tank slapper just for good measure there, and that's actually allowed Vettel to pull a really nice gap on us, and it looks like he might even have enough of a gap to get outside of the DRS range if he pulls far enough away. And you can see he actually does. By the end of the lap, he's outside of the DRS, so I decided to pull the trigger and come into for my pit stop 1 lap earlier than I was supposed to because we saw how powerful the undercut was for the first pit stops. Section there. So I'm going to try and take advantage of that. And you can see Leclerc's actually followed me in there. So interesting strategy there from Ferrari, maybe to try and cover me off so that at least one of their cars can stay with me if this does end up being a very overpowered maneuver here. We are onto the medium tyres, like I said before, and we've got 11 laps to go on these tyres, which should be fairly easily. We did almost that on the soft tyres in the first stint and second stint there. So yeah, we can see once again completely clear air here on these fresh medium tyres, and we're going to have to push like crazy. But you can see here onto lap 18 now, Verstappen came out right on our tail, and so it's just going to be the same thing all over again. Verstappen's going to have the DRS, and he's going to fly by us heading into the braking zone, and he is ahead. So I don't know, maybe Vettel hasn't come in yet, so there's still an opportunity to get an undercut on him, but Verstappen certainly didn't lose too much time from our 1 lap undercut that we had on him there in the pit stop phase. You can see now, as we head down the main straight, we are going to go for a move onto lap 20 here. We're going to try and go around the outside. Sainz has just come out of the pit lane on the soft tyres just alongside us there as well. I'm not too sure where he is in this battle, but we do get ahead of Verstappen now into P2. You can see Vettel is 5 seconds up the road. Vettel has some incredible pace. So Vettel he's just gone. You can see, although Sainz has had to come into the pit lane. Sainz has had to come into the pit lane there. He must have been in some sort of contact with us there, and he has to change his front wing. So that really, really sucks for our teammate there. But you can see we don't have time to worry about that because Verstappen has jumped up our inside there, and Valtteri Bottas is now trying to get a look as well. So Verstappen's ahead. Bottas is still trying to look there, but he's not really able to get it done. So as we head into the hairpin before the big back straight, we're going to try and set up a nice run on Max Verstappen. But Valtteri Bottas actually has the grip, just completely come up alongside us there. He stuck his nose in at the apex, and now he's completely alongside us. But we have the slipstream off Verstappen, as well as the DRS. And we're going to try and go for a big send around the outside into the braking zone. Are we able to get the move done? We're going to go side by side into the third sector. And has he tried to hang it around the outside of the right-hander? No, he slotted in behind us. So that is us back up into P2 here. But now we have to try and hold off Verstappen and Bottas at this stage. You can see running a little bit wide. And Verstappen spun! Verstappen's hit the side of our car and he spun on us. So, yeah, I don't think there was anything on us. You can see, we're going to have a look at a replay. Here's Verstappen. You can see we ran a little bit wide. And for some reason, he just decides to go full gas. And then he just runs into the side of our car and spins. That was all on his own. We didn't do anything wrong there. We were entitled to our line. You can see, here's the view from Bottas's perspective. You can see Verstappen does just go completely up and hit the rear of our car and lose it on his own. So Verstappen has thrown away a great opportunity at making up points on Lando Norris, which, as you can see, Lando's right behind us here in P4. Valtteri Bottas got a much better exit out of the final corner than us, and he's gotten ahead into P2, and I don't know if I'm going to have the tyres to challenge him again. You can see we're going to have a look at the running order at the moment. You can see Sebastian Vettel's leading the race by 10 seconds it is now. So Sebastian Vettel has gotten into the lead from, I think he was in P8 or P10 or something at the start of the race, and now he's gotten into the lead. He is just taken off 10 seconds down the road. You can see there's Valtteri Bottas in P2, who just got ahead of us. We're now in P3. And we've got Lando Norris, who's had an incredible comeback. I believe he was down in like 18th or something at the start of the Grand Prix. He's now in P4, challenging us for P3. Ricciardo is in the other McLaren in P5 ahead of Sergio Perez, who's also had a nice comeback. He was in like P15 or something at the start of the race. So he's done well there for Red Bull to get into P6. You can see Max Verstappen has found himself in P7 after that spin. He's still going to be losing points to Lando Norris, even though he is in the points. George Russell is doing an incredible job for Williams there. He's on the hard compound tyre, so it looks like he maybe tried to go for a one-stop strategy, and it's working out so far. He's in P8 in the points. Williams only have 1 point to their name so far this season, so this would be nice for that team. Kimi Räikkönen in P9 in the Aston Martin, and our teammate Carlos Sainz, he's actually in P10, so he is in the points still. He's got Hamilton and Leclerc behind him, who's also having a horrible race, but Sainz has an opportunity with about 6 laps to go to try and at least catch Russell and Räikkönen there and get a few more points. But onto lap 26, Norris was finally close enough to go for a move and take P3 off of us here, and so we've lost the podium position for now. Hopefully we can try and get the move back on Norris. I don't know if we will. He's had some incredible pace. You can see Bottas is 8 seconds up the road, so he's completely taken off, and so yeah, interesting to see there. But you can see we're heading on to the final lap now, and this is our last opportunity. We can see we're close enough to get a good DRS run on Norris down the back straight. However, Nikita Mazepin in the Haas, this has to be the worst possible timing for us that could have possibly happened. Nikita Mazepin in the Haas is getting overlapped, but he's given Norris the DRS down the straight. And so we've got absolutely no hope of catching the McLaren here. You can see we go for a massive dive into the braking zone. That was our last opportunity to try and get the move done, and I knew that, so I just had to go for a massive dive and hope that we could maybe scare Norris into running a bit wide or something, but no, he kept his cool and he's held on to P3. I don't think we've got any chance of keeping that. You can see, big congratulations here. Sebastian Vettel's had an absolutely flawless race to win there for Ferrari from the back of the top 10. Valtteri Bottas on that alternate strategy doing very well there to finish in P2, and Lando, I've just got to say, that was an incredible, that was the race of a driver's champion there for him, and it's going to be a P4 for us. Not bad in the end.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
They take the checkered flag here in Austin after what has been another fabulous Grand Prix. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So here we are with the results for the USA Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel takes the win there for Ferrari, making it 2 wins in a row for the Scuderia team. About 4.5 seconds over Valtteri Bottas, who himself got the first lap of the race there to get himself that extra point, as well as for Mercedes. Lando Norris, as I said, that was the driver of a driver's champion to get himself up into P3 after starting in 19th on the grid. That's why he's leading the championship, because he's just been able to put together some great performances this season so far. And ourselves, we're in P4. Carlos Sainz was able to actually get ahead of Russell and Räikkönen there to get himself into P8, and you can see Leclerc and Hamilton were also able to get ahead of them to get P9 and 10, so those guys were able to salvage some sort of points by the end of that race. You can see in terms of the Drivers' Championship, Norris is now 43 points ahead of Max Verstappen in the championship, and with 3 rounds to go, he's looking very much on track to win the championship if he can keep up performances like today. Sainz has dropped to 4th, and we're still in 6th, so I'd say that a lot of us are really out of the championship. It's really only Verstappen who can get it if Norris has some horrible luck. You can see, though, we do overtake Red Bull, so now we're leading by 1 point ahead of those guys in the championship. So, yeah, that could be very important, a very important battle for us in terms of a budget for next season to try and boost ourselves to the top team in the championship. Yeah, nothing else really moving around in the table, so McLaren also have that looking pretty wrapped up, but next time out, we're going to be in Mexico, which is a track that I enjoy quite a bit. I'm normally pretty quick, so yeah, hopefully we're able to do well there. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.